What?
Nothing. 902.
I know one.
Good evening, everyone. We'll call the City Council to order at 8 o'clock on Monday evening, July 25th, 2022. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have 23 items on this evening's agenda, and I will ask the city clerk to please read agenda item number 1.
Minutes of the City Council meeting, June 27th, 2022.
Council Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file.
Motion made, second to accept and place on file. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is filed 10-0. Agenda item number 2.
Now is the time for the public hearing on the petition from Massachusetts Electric and Verizon New England to install new pole number 3, an anchor needed for height clearance on Allen Court, order number 22-100-8636.
Okay, this public hearing was taken in 4 stages. The first being public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant. Second, questions from the public. Third, public speaking in opposition. And fourth, comments or questions from the City Council. So we'll start with the first portion of the public hearing with the public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant. Al, please state your name and address for the record.
Sure. Al Galvin, Design Engineer, National Grid, Hopedale office.
Thank you. So give us just a brief update on that.
Yeah, there's an upgrade job being done at the end of this road, and they're replacing old cable, which back prior was number 4 cable, which was lighter and thinner, so they could draw it out a lot further. Now, bring it up to code. It's a number 2 triplex, they call it, which is heavier. So the need for a third pole is to reduce that sag to get the height clearance over the road. So they're putting an anchor, a pole and an anchor behind it, right where the fence line is there at the end of the road. So it'll keep that cable at the clearance it needs to be.
Thanks, Al. Anyone else speaking in favor? Anyone else speaking in favor? Could I ask the clerk just to read the comments from the city engineer?
Received comments from to the City Council from City Engineer Thomas DePercio regarding the petition of Massachusetts Electric and Verizon New England to install new pole 3 and anchor needed for height clearance on Allen Court, order number 22-100-8636. He offers the following for your consideration. 1, the new pole and anchor should be located such that they do not extend out of the roadway right-of-way and into the property at 7 Allen Court. 2, the Engineering Division will issue a road opening permit for this work, which will include review and approval of exact pole and anchor locations prior to the start of work, and the attached conditions will also apply to this request, and he has also attached the standard conditions for utility poles.
Thank you. Is there anyone else speaking in favor? Any members of the public speaking in favor? Any members of the public speaking in favor? Hearing none, I'll close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll close that portion of the public hearing. Any members of the public with any questions? Oh, sorry, speaking in opposition. Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Any questions from the councilors? Questions from the councilors? Any questions from the councilors? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing and the entire public hearing, and it is in public service. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to enter the comments from the city engineer into the record of the public hearing, please.
Motion made second to enter the comments of the city engineer into the record. Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, part of the record. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to suspend to order number 22-100-8636 to remove it out of Public Service Committee, please, and to add the city engineer's comments as well as the conditions, please.
Well, first on the motion to remove the item from the Public Services Committee. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? It is removed from public service and now in the hands of the City Council. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve order number 22-100-8636, please.
Motion made and seconded to approve the petition from Mass Electric for Allen Court with the conditions of the solicitor. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The petition is approved. Thank you, Al.
The other job is fine. Okay.
Agenda item number 3.
Communication from Councilor Donald Landers, Chair of the Public Services Committee, regarding petition of Massachusetts Electric to replace 3 sections of direct buried cable and replace with new primary cable and conduit on Stone Hill Road, order number 22-100, 8596A.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to have a motion for suspension to remove order number 22-100-8596 out of public services, please, and to include the city engineer's conditions as well as his comments, please.
There's been a motion to suspend the rules to remove the Stonehill petition from Mass Electric. All those in favor of suspending the rules? Opposed? It is approved 10-0. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve order number 22-100-8596, please.
Been a motion to approve the petition for Stonehill Road with the conditions from the city engineer. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Is approved 10-0. Thanks, Al. Agenda item number 4.
Communication from the mayor regarding an update on the summer public service internship program in Youth Works.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file.
Motion made and second to accept and place on file. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Oram.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I just had, it was interesting reading the mail from, the letter from the mayor that we couldn't attract as many interns this year based on the pay. But that's the sign of the times. I think our youth are moving on to the best paying jobs, and they're learning as they move on to these jobs. So I did notice he said it will be under review, but I just want to take note that we need to make sure, I know we look at all the salaries in town on a regular basis. We also need to look at this as well, because it'd be nice to attract more interns, but at least we made some effort this year. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Anyone else? On the motion to accept and place on file the mayor's communication, all those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed 10-0. Agenda item number 5.
Communication from the mayor regarding the appointments to the Marlborough Cable Trust Board of Directors.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just for information for us, councilors, so move to accept and place on file.
Been a motion. I will be recusing myself from participating, but will not leave the podium. So I'll look for a second on the motion to accept and place on file. Councilor Roby. There's been a motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication from the mayor and the appointees to the Cable Trust. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? 9-0-1. Well, I know 2, I guess, but I've abstained and Don's not here. So. Let the record reflect I abstained from participating. Item number 6.
Communication from the mayor regarding grant acceptances from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security and State 911 Department as follows: in the amount of $34,530.25 for equipment, quality assurance reviews of dispatch personnel, and an offset of overtime costs, and in the amount of $154,964 to be used to offset personnel overtime costs in the Public Safety Dispatching Center.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the grant.
Motion made and seconded to approve both grants. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The grants are approved 10-0. Agenda item number 7.
Communication from the mayor regarding grant acceptance in the amount of $2,500 from the Office of the Attorney General's Healthy Summer Youth Jobs Program, awarded to the Health Department to be used for temporary summer help promoting activities that contribute to the improvement of water quality in our swimming areas.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the grant.
Motion made and seconded to approve the grant. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. The reason I stand for this item is based on what I talked about earlier, but I just wanted to stress the importance of the city offering internships. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been in the public health field. I interned for the city 3 years back in the late 70s, and thanks to programs like this, I actually used to test all the water around Fort Meadow. As this has mentioned, that's what the interns are doing. So it brought back memories. Some of us may not have been born. I just got a look. I think that's why I got the look. But I think these are important programs, so not underestimating internships. The previous discussion was just to make sure we bring them up to the proper pay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Would you like to share your salary at that? No.
I will. Free the first year, minimum wage for the next 2 years.
Thank you,
I was
Counselor.
doing okay.
On the motion to approve the grant for $2,500 from the Attorney General for the Board of Health intern, any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? The grant is approved, 10-0. Agenda item number 8.
Communication from the mayor regarding the reappointment of Mary Jo Naraki to the License Board for a 6-year term to expire on June 5th, 2028.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Seeing this is a reappointment of a fellow counselor from years back, I move to approve tonight.
Motion made and seconded to approve the appointment. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The appointment is approved, 10-0. Agenda item number 9.
Communication from the mayor regarding the appointment of Lindsay Jarrick to the Disabilities Commission for a 3-year term to expire from the date of council confirmation.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Knowing Lindsay and all her dedication to the city of Marlborough as well as MEDC, I cannot think of a more compassionate person to be on the Disabilities Commission, and so why bother bringing her back just for one night when she's here at all our city council meetings and supports Marlborough like no other person that I've seen personally. So I move to approve this for tonight's meeting. Thank you.
Motion made and seconded to approve the appointment. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Is approved, 10-0. Lindsay, congratulations. Agenda item number 10.
Communication from the city solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding WP Marlborough Mass Owner LLC versus the City of Marlborough City Council, revised special permit application on remand order number 2022-100-7995.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to move to set a public hearing for August 22nd and to advertise, and I would move to suspend the rules to have the communication from the solicitor read into the record.
Motion to suspend the rules. All those in favor of the suspension to read the letter from the solicitor. All those in favor? Suspension is approved, 10-0. Mr. Clerk, if you would be so kind.
Dear Honorable President Ossing and Councilors, this letter is to advise regarding the next steps with respect to the above referenced matter following the Land Court's order on joint motion for remand. The remand order returns the matter to the City Council for review of a revised special permit application consistent with the settlement agreement dated May 17, 2022. On July 1, 2022, WP Marlborough Mass Owner LLC submitted to the City Council a request to grant a revised special permit and a copy of a remand order. In my opinion, the revised application is consistent with the terms of the settlement agreement and is ready for City Council consideration. Recommended next action. At this time, the City Council may vote to set the public hearing date on the revised application and to advertise in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, and the remand order. Consistent with the remand order, the City Council should open the hearing by August 30th, 2022. The remand order states the public hearing shall be for the limited purpose of considering the changes to the previously contemplated draft decision to the grant a special permit for the project, and will incorporate by reference all prior submitted materials and testimony on the special permit application. Enclosed is a table listing those changes and where they appear in the proposed special permit decision in the revised application. Following completion of the public hearing within 25 days of the close of the remand public hearing, the City Council shall file a written decision on remand with the Marlborough City Clerk's Office, i.e., if the public hearing is closed on August 22nd, 2022, decision shall be filed by September 16th, 2022. If the public hearing is closed on September 12th, 2022, decision shall be filed by October 7th, 2022. Please contact me if you have any questions or concerns. Sincerely, Jason D. Grossfield, City Solicitor.
There's been a motion to set the public hearing for August 22nd and to advertise, and just to restate so that everybody's clear, the public hearing shall be for the limited purpose of considering the changes to the previously contemplated draft decision to the grant special permit for the project. Council Roby.
Sorry, I wonder if the clerk would be also willing to read the reference table so that the public knows exactly what those conditions can be discussed?
That's part of your suspension, so we can. So have at
This
it,
is,
clerk.
this is the reference table, settlement agreement, and special permit decision in revised application. Settlement agreement summary of special permit condition changes. Section 1A, $20,000 payment to city for recreational trail remains as is. Location and revised application is to see condition number 10B. Section 1B, project construction shall not begin until April 14th, 2023. This is new condition number 11. Section 1C, applicant to make written request to Mass DOT to reconsider traffic signal based upon traffic data reflecting full occupancy. This is new condition number 8E. Section 1D, applicant's traffic engineer shall update traffic analysis and make recommendations to the city on use of $200,000 in mitigation funds for traffic safety and improvements. And this is new condition 8F. Section 1E, affordable housing percentage of units increased from 15% to 20%. This is revised condition number 7. And Section 1F, increase in charging stations from 2 to 4, and this is new condition 12.
And again, and for the public that's listening, all this information is on the website, and if you contact the city clerk's office, if you have any challenges finding it, he'll be happy to point you in the correct direction. So on the motion to set the public hearing for the remand order for August 22nd and to advertise, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved 10-0 to advertise the public hearing for 8/22 and to advertise. Agenda item number 10. 11. Before you do that, Council Dumas.
I will recuse myself from this vote.
Let the record reflect that Council Dumas will not be participating in agenda item number 11.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding the special permit of Alta Marlborough LLC, Wood Partners, to build a mixed-use project in the neighborhood business district consisting of 10,074 square feet of ground floor retail and commercial space, 276 dwelling units in addition to an on-site parking garage with 448 spaces to be located at the corner of Lincoln and Mechanic Streets. It's in proper legal form. Order number 22-100, 8572D.
Council Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move this to agenda item number 23.
Been a motion to move this item down to agenda item number 23. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Is approved 9-0 to move to 23. Agenda item number 12.
Communication from City Clerk Stephen Kerrigan regarding the state primary election call.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file and make a special note that the primary election is on Tuesday, September 6th. It is right around the corner.
That is correct. Motion made and second to accept and place on file, noting preliminary election is September 6th.
Day after Labor Day.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is filed 10-0. Agenda item 13.
Communication from City Clerk Stephen Kerrigan regarding update on the Votes Act.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just like to thank the clerk for this update. It contains quite a bit of helpful information from the Votes Act that was just recently passed by the legislature. Just want to note that there is a reduction in the amount of time before the election to register. So you now have more time, and the last day to register for the election, the primary election, is August 27th. So special note to people who are not registered, please do so. And with that, motion to accept and place on file.
Thank you, Councilor Navin. Motion made and second to accept and place on file the correspondence from the City Clerk on the Votes Act. Any questions, comments? All those in favor? Opposed? It is filed 10-0. Agenda item 14.
Communication from the Retirement Board regarding Mass General Law, Chapter 32, Section 103J, cost of living increase.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file the communication, please.
Motion made and second to accept and file the communication. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is filed. You want to be opposed? It is filed 9-1.
Myself as well.
9-2. No, I can't do that. It's got to be 8-2. It's filed 8-2. Agenda item number 15.
Petition for Massachusetts Electric and Verizon New England to install new pole 78 to relieve the distance of new overhead lines from pole 75 to pole 79 on Farm Road.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer to the Public Services Committee and to set a public hearing for August 22nd, 2022, and also to refer to the city engineer for comments for the public hearing, please.
Been a motion made and seconded to set a public hearing for August 22nd, to refer to the Public Service Committee, and to send to the city engineer for his input. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is approved 10-0 to set the public hearing for August 22nd and refer to public service. Agenda item number 16.
Communication from the Sudbury Companies of Minute and Militia regarding a temporary sign placement at the corner of Route 20 and Hager Road from September 17, 2022 to September 25, 2022 for the 2022 Colonial Fair and Muster at the Wayside Inn.
Council Naven.
Thank you, Mr. President. We approve this every year from the floor, and I would just like to thank the Sudbury Companies and Minute Militia for requesting permission, and then also wish them best of luck. If people have time, please head down on September 24th for what I'm sure will be an excellent time. And with that, a motion to approve the application for the sign.
The motion is made and second to approve the application for a temporary sign permit. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is approved 10-0. Agenda item 17.
Communication from Central Mass Mosquito Control Project regarding personnel will be in the community responding to residents' concerns about mosquitoes on various dates in July 2022.
Councilor Orem.
Thank you. This is almost outdated. The last date for this month will be July 27th, but our clerk posts these on the web every month. So for August, you'll see that too, and you can either opt in or opt out for individual spraying. If they do massive spraying, we'll know about it and notice will come out. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Orem. So the motion is made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed 10-0. Agenda item 18.
Communication from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of Alton Marlborough regarding proposed modification to condition number 15 of the special permit, order number 22-100, 8572D.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll also be recused from this vote.
The record reflect that Councilor Dumas will recuse himself from the participating in agenda item 18. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to move this to item agenda 23.
Motion made and seconded to move this item to agenda item number 23. Any discussion on the motion? All set? Good? All those in favor? Opposed? It is moved to agenda item number 23, 10-0. Sam, you're getting ahead of me. That's good. Agenda item 19.
Application for modification of special permit from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of Levon Gilbankian to amend the special permit for the Gilbankian Mobile Home Village to authorize a new building lot and replace one mobile home with a single-family home.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to refer this to Urban Affairs, set a public hearing for August 22nd, and advertise.
Motion made and seconded to refer to Urban Affairs, set a public hearing for August 22nd and to advertise. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is approved 10-0 to send to Urban, advertise 822, set a public hearing for 822 and to advertise. Agenda item number 20.
Communication from Attorney Dennis McKenna on behalf of Wayside Residential regarding proposed revised application for special permit to build a multifamily residential project in the business district to be known as Walcott Heritage Farms relative to the court order, 339 Boston Post Road, East McGee Farm, order number 2022-100, 7995.
Councilor Roby.
Move to accept and place on file.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Communication is filed 10-0. Agenda item 21.
Minutes of boards, commissions, and committees.
Mr. President.
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards, commission, and committees.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file all the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Minutes are filed 10-0. 22.
Claims.
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Motion to submit the claims to the legal department.
Motion made and seconded to send the claims to the legal department. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The claims are being sent to the legal department 10-0. Got reports of committees. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance Committee met Monday, July 25th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. We had one item on the agenda this evening. It was order number 22-100-8634. Amend Board of Registrars and Assistant Registrars stipends. The Finance Committee reviewed the City Clerk's letter dated June 23rd, 2022, requesting an amendment to Chapter 125, Section 6, salary schedule for the Board of Registrars and Assistant Registrars stipends. The City Council approved the funding for these stipends in FY23 budget. On a motion by Council Perlman, seconded by the Chair, the Finance Committee voted 5-0 to recommend approval of the amendment to Chapter 125, Section 6 for the following stipends to suspend and to suspend the rules to approve the City Council July 25th, 2022 meeting. That includes a Register of Voters Chair, $500 stipend, Register of Voters, a $500 stipend, the Assistant Register of Voters, a $750 stipend, and on a motion by Council Perlman, seconded by the Chair, we adjourned at 7:39 p.m. this evening, and I will be requesting a suspension this evening for approval. Thank you, Mr. President.
Suspension before the council to take this report out of the Finance Committee and report it to the council. All those in favor of the suspension? Opposed? Suspension is approved, 10-0. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve order number 22-100-8634, Amendment Board of Registers and Assistant Registrar stipends, please.
Been a motion made and seconded to approve the change to the amendment for the Registrar of Voters Chair, the Registrar of Voters, and the Assistant Registrar stipends. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, since this is an ordinance change, it goes through the 4 stages. All those in favor of suspending the first reading and approving the second reading, please signify. Reflect, 10-0. All those in favor of the passage to be enrolled, please signify. Again, 10-0. All those in favor of the passage to be ordained, please signify. Again, 10-0. Any objections to passage in one evening? Seeing none, the ordinance is approved. Thank you, councilors. Any other reports of committees? Seeing none, agenda item number 23.
Order number 22-100-8572D, the application for a special permit from Attorney Brian Falk on behalf of Alta Marlborough LLC, Wood Partners, to build a mixed-use project in the neighborhood business district consisting of 10,074 square feet of ground floor retail and commercial space, 276 dwelling units, in addition to an on-site parking garage with 448 spaces to be located at the corner of Lincoln and Mechanic Streets. Recommendation of the Urban Affairs Committee is to approve as amended.
Councilor Dumas.
Sorry, Mr. President. I'll recuse from myself from this vote. Thank you.
Please let the record reflect that Councilor Dumas will recuse from participating in this particular item. Thank you, Councilor Dumas. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I would move to accept and place on file the communication from the solicitor.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication from the solicitor. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed 9-0.
Next, I would like to take up the request from the petitioner to amend. We received the letter from the solicitor, and we also had received a letter from the applicant. So I'm going to move to amend condition 15, green design, so that it reads as follows. The residential units shall have all electric utilities, including heat, air conditioning, and hot water, and the applicant shall use best efforts to provide all electric utilities in the retail, commercial, and amenities portion of the use. The use shall have a green roof substantially as shown on the plans.
Motion made and seconded to approve the amendment to condition number 15. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. So this is basically allowing the use of gas in restaurants for stoves and ovens. You know, the technology's not there for electric at this point, and this is just going to be for the retail establishments as needed. So I think this is a fair opportunity for them to address and really fulfill the needs of the businesses that move in. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Any other discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of the amendment to condition number 15? All those in favor? 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. That means opposed? None. So the amendment is approved 9-0. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now I would like to recommend the committee's, move the recommendation of committee, which is to approve. I would also like to make a couple comments if I may, or do you want to
You have the floor.
second? First, I would like to thank the committee for the work that we did and for Councilor Doucette for reading the reports when I was not here at the last meeting. I would like to remind the council of the comments that the solicitor made that this special permit will only take 6 votes because of the ruling of the legislature. And finally, I would like to just bring a comment on, I know we had all received a revised copy from the solicitor, and then in the packet tonight is the final document with all of the changes that he had made with the rationale that he did it. But I do want to point out to the committee and to the public, because I know we received a response from a resident that had spoken. I think the committee did hear the traffic concerns, and we did want to have a peer review, but to be able to have a peer review, we needed to have the special permit in place so that the special permit could specify that the peer review is paid for by the applicant. That language is now in here, and then once we hopefully approve this tonight, site plan will then be able to, once the peer review is done, be able to look at the comments that they make from the initial traffic report and make any specific changes that they, or conditions that they want in the site plan review. So it will be looked at, there will be comments that will be made available, and hopefully any issues that they bring up will be resolved. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. So the motion's been made and seconded to approve the special permit as amended. Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just had a question. You know, I'm excited about the potential of this project, and to echo Councilor Roby's comments around the traffic being a concern for residents. The language, I guess, on the 9th page of the document on J, it says the site plan review committee may engage the services. Is that, I guess, definitive enough that they'd be required to use the services? I'm a little concerned that it's sort of, if they choose to, and it doesn't necessarily guarantee that the traffic study peer review will occur.
Councilor Roby.
I respond. It's my understanding that the city engineer, Mr. DePercio, already has engaged a company that he figures is appropriate to do the peer review. The applicant has agreed to pay for it. So I think that the language may sound vague, but it's going to happen, and there will be the peer review.
Oh, if I may, are we able to change it to will engage rather than shall engage? So I would move to change the language from may to shall engage, just to confirm that it's written in the language directly.
Councilor Roby.
I don't have an issue with it. I don't know if the solicitor is here. I don't know if the applicant has an issue. I would hope not. So if she wants to make that amendment.
There's been a motion made and seconded to change the word may to will engage. I got that correct?
Mr.
We said shall.
What shall?
That sort of fits with the shall at the other sections of this section J as well.
Changing, so motion's been made and seconded to change may to shall. Discussion on the amendment to item J, 11J. Seeing none, all those in favor of the change? It is approved 9-0.
Thank you.
Anyone else, any other discussion? Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. That was one of my concerns, was the language under the traffic on page 9. Said may, it should say shall if you really want it definitive. So I'm glad we made that change. As the council knows, I'm concerned about us approving this before we do the peer review of the traffic study. This is going to generate traffic, no ands or buts about it. It's 276 units on 4.4 acres. That's a lot of density. That's a lot of cars. And yes, I know the applicant's doing their best they can to promote public transportation, so forth and so on. It still doesn't weigh out the need, in my view, to keep it in the council until we get that traffic peer review, the peer review of the traffic study. So we can make a determination if the use is more than what those roads can handle in that neighborhood. Outside of that, I commend them for the parking garage. It provides enough parking in my view. Kind of speaks to the traffic in a way, you know, I think it's 400 plus parking spaces. I have a feeling there'll be 400 plus cars coming in and out of there. Again, I think by making a decision tonight, in my view, it's too premature. I may be outnumbered. I know I was at the last meeting, but I wanted to express that. Do I want to see that corner cleaned up? Oh, do I ever. Will it be nice? It looks beautiful from the drafts. So I'm not, and they have gone with the electric for the units, so that's a good thing. Less gas and so forth being utilized or other fossil fuels, so they're working with us. All I'm asking for is we wait until we have that peer review completed on the traffic to make sure that it's not over in the amount of units that the streets can handle. So that's why I will be voting against this tonight, based on that, not based on the rest of all the good things going on with this project. You know, I think it's needed, but again, I'm not for sure if 276 units can, if the roads in that area in those neighborhoods can support the 276 units. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Orm. Any other discussion? Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know back a few summers ago, this was the whole catalyst of rezoning Lincoln Street was to hopefully attract a project that the city could have input, which we were very successful in doing. And the whole process was to move forward to help revitalize the area. And I am certainly in support of this evening and the work that the Alta team did in keeping us informed with MEDC. So I'd like to go forward with that, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Irish. Anyone else? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I do support this. I think, we wanted to get this project done to address this location in the city. And sometimes you don't, when you get what you want, it has unintended consequences, which could be traffic, could be. I don't think we should stop it at this point. I think if there's issues with traffic that have to be addressed going forward, that traffic has to be addressed, but those traffic issues have to be addressed by us as far as DPW in making sure that the intersections are clean and the roads are maintained. So I think that this is an opportunity we can't pass up and we should be supporting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Anyone else? Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to remind the council that when we rezoned Lincoln Street to be the neighborhood district, we chose not to put in that particular rezoning the fact that the city council is not site plan review. We have the department heads with the talent and the knowledge to be able to make decisions on traffic. And site plan review committee will be able to look at the peer review, to look at the original traffic study and make their decisions. Not this council. We don't have site plan review authority in this district. So let the professionals do their work and they will make sure that any conditions that need to be in there to deal with traffic are there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Roby. Councilor Orm.
Thank you, Mr. President. And indeed, site plan does a great job, but this legislative body that sits here is the only deciding body that can reduce the units. If the review committee can reduce the units if need be because of traffic, I think we've already passed that point. That's why I'm suggesting let them do the peer review. Keep it here until that's done, because if indeed the 276 units in this small area is overuse and will cause traffic issues, we're the governing body that decides that, not site plan review. They can't. So that's why I'm making that suggestion and can't support this until that review is done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Orm. Anyone else?
I'm sorry, I just want to make sure, I know I had said to move to approve the recommendation of committee, which is to approve as amended, but it needs to be further amended by the two amendments made tonight. Thank you.
So as Councilor Roby indicated, the motion before the City Council is to approve the special permit with an amendment to condition 15 and amendment to 11J, changing may to shall. Everybody's clear? Any further discussion? Seeing none, since this is a special permit, I will ask the city clerk to read the roll. A yes is to approve the special permit. Oh, yeah, you gotta read the conditions. Everybody get comfortable. No, I apologize. No, read the conditions.
The City Council, pursuant to its authority under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, and the zoning ordinance of the City of Marlborough, hereby grants the applicant a special permit for a mixed-use development at the site, as shown in the plans filed, subject to the following conditions, which conditions shall be binding on the applicant, its successors, and/or assigns. 1, construction in accordance with applicable laws. Construction of all structures on the site is to be in accordance with all applicable building codes and zoning regulations in effect in the City of Marlborough and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and shall be built according to the plans as may be amended during site plan review. 2, site plan review. The issuance of the special permit is further subject to detailed site plan review by the Site Plan Review Committee in accordance with the City of Marlborough Site Plan Review Ordinance prior to the issuance of the building permit. Any additional changes, alterations, modifications, or amendments as required during the process of site plan review shall be further conditions attached to the building permit, and a final certificate of occupancy shall not be issued until the applicant has complied with all the conditions, provided that the Site Plan Review Committee may authorize the phasing of site work depending upon weather conditions and other factors. Subsequent site plan review shall be consistent with the conditions of this special permit, and the plan submitted, reviewed, and approved by the City Council as a special permit granting authority. 3, modification of plans. Notwithstanding conditions 1 and 2 above, the Site Plan Review Committee may approve minor amendments to the plan so long as said changes do not materially increase the impervious area of the use, alter traffic flow, increase the size of the buildings, increase the number of residential units, or increase the total number of bedrooms above 440 as shown on the plans. 4, incorporation of submissions. All plans, photo renderings, site evaluations, briefs, and other documentation provided by the applicant as part of the application and as amended or revised during the application hearing process before the City Council and/or the City Council's Urban Affairs Committee are herein incorporated into and become part of this special permit and become conditions and requirements of the same unless otherwise altered by the City Council. 5, stormwater and erosion control management. The applicant shall ensure that its site superintendent during construction of this project is competent in stormwater and erosion control management. This individual's credentials shall be acceptable to the Engineering Division of the City's Department of Public Works and the City's Conservation Commission. This individual shall be responsible for checking the site before, during, and after storm events, including weekends and evenings when storms are predicted. This individual shall ensure that no untreated stormwater leaves the site consistent with the state's and city's stormwater regulations. This individual shall ensure compliance with the approved sequence of construction plan and the approved erosion control plan. The applicant shall grant this individual complete authority of the site as it relates to stormwater and erosion controls. 6, affordable units. 10% of the residential dwelling units at the site shall be made available as rental units at affordable prices to renters whose annual income does not exceed 80% of the area median income adjusted for family size as determined by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, in perpetuity or the longest period allowed by law. The affordable housing unit shall comply with all requirements for inclusion in the subsidized housing inventory of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of Housing and Community Development. Prior to obtaining a final certificate of occupancy for any unit within the use, the applicant, in coordination with the City and the Community Development Authority, shall file all required submissions to DHCD for inclusion of the affordable housing units on the SHI, and shall diligently take all actions necessary to include the affordable housing units on the SHI, including without limitation, preparing and executing a regulatory agreement and declaration of restrictive covenants and/or any other restrictive instrument necessary to ensure compliance with this condition, a marketing plan, and all other required documentation. All costs associated with complying with this condition, including but not limited to the DHCD process, recording of all documents with the Registry of Deeds, and the marketing plan for the affordable units shall be borne by the applicant. 7, rail trail lot and public amenity restroom building. Not later than the issuance of the final certificate of occupancy for the use, or 26 months following the issuance of the building permit for the buildings associated with the use, whichever is sooner, and in accordance with the land swap agreement referenced in condition 17 below, the applicant shall have both caused the conveyance to the Marlborough Economic Development Corporation of the land shown on the plans as Lot 2 and completed the parking lot and public amenity restroom building as shown on the plans, retaining an access easement over Lot 2 for the benefit of the use to be further defined through the site plan review process. Provided, however, that the Site Plan Review Committee, through the site plan review process, may authorize the construction of the public amenity restroom building at another site in the city or payment to the city in lieu of such construction. The final design of the public amenity restroom building shall be determined by the Site Plan Review Committee through the site plan review process and shall be architecturally interesting and have railroad-related design elements. 8, parallel parking spaces and sidewalks. Prior to the issuance of the final certificate of occupancy for the use, the applicant, at no cost to the city, shall grant to the city and record any easements deemed necessary by the city engineer in a form acceptable to the city for the parallel parking and the sidewalks along Lincoln Street and Mechanic Street, as shown in the plans. If the city accepts as public ways any portions of the parallel parking spaces and sidewalks along Lincoln Street and Mechanic Street, the City Council hereby finds that any resulting change in the site's boundaries and setbacks met the provisions of Section 650-39F of the zoning ordinance for modified dimensional parking design and landscaping requirements for the reasons set forth in finding C of this decision. 9, Jefferson Street parking lot. Prior to the issuance of the final certificate of occupancy for the use, or by the date set forth in the land swap agreement referencing condition 17 below, whichever is sooner, the applicant shall complete improvements to the city-owned parking lot located at 56 Jefferson Street, which serves as the Aspet River Rail Trail in accordance with said land swap agreement. 10, neighboring properties at 91, 103, and 103A Mechanic Street. The applicant shall install and maintain along the boundary line of the site adjacent to 91 Mechanic Street a privacy fence with a height of 6 feet where permissible under the city code and vegetative screening to help minimize the view of the site from 91 Mechanic Street. The applicant shall install and maintain along the boundary line of the site adjacent to 103 and 103A Mechanic Street, fencing and vegetated screening to help minimize the view of the site from 103 and 103A Mechanic Street. Wherever possible, the applicant shall preserve and maintain existing trees to screen the site from the neighboring properties. 11, site access and safety. A, the site driveway access easement across the rail trail parking lot and the vehicle turnaround driveway shall be a minimum of 24 feet in width and designed to accommodate the turning and maneuvering requirements of emergency vehicles. B, for all perpendicular parking spaces, that the drive aisle behind the parking should be a minimum of 23 feet in order to facilitate parking maneuvers. C, vehicles exiting the site should be placed under stop sign control with a marked stop line. D, all signs and pavement markings to be installed within the site shall conform to the applicable standards of the manual on uniform traffic control devices. E, sidewalks shall be provided to link the building entrances to the sidewalks along Lincoln Street and Mechanic Street as shown in the plans. F, Americans with Disability Act compliant wheelchair ramps shall be provided for crossing the site driveway and rail trail parking lot entrance, or the driveway and entrance shall be designed such that the sidewalks along Lincoln Street and Mechanic Street are flush with the driveway and entrance. G, signs and landscaping installed in the vicinity of the site driveway and rail trail parking lot entrance shall be designed and maintained so as not to restrict lines of sight. H, snow accumulation in the vicinity of the site driveway and the rail trail parking lot entrance shall be properly removed where such accumulation would impede sight lines. I, accommodation for future electronic vehicle charging stations shall be installed in at least 10% of the parking spaces in the parking garage, with at least 20 parking spaces having EV charging stations installed upon occupancy of the parking garage. J, at the applicant's expense, the Site Plan Review Committee shall engage the services of an outside transportation engineer to provide a peer review of the applicant's transportation impact assessment dated May 2022 by Van Ness and Associates, Inc., and shall implement the recommendations of such engineer through the site plan review process. The need for additional safety improvements at the site's driveway or nearby intersections, such as additional signage, crosswalk markings, traffic calming devices, etc., shall be reviewed as part of the site plan review process. 12, transportation alternatives. A, the applicant shall assign a transportation coordinator to coordinate a transportation demand management program for the site. B, information regarding the public transportation services, maps, schedules, and fare information shall be posted in a central location and/or otherwise made available to residents and employees at the site. C, a welcome package shall be provided to residents and employees detailing available public transportation services, bicycle and walking alternatives, and commuter options available. D, commercial tenants shall be encouraged to offer specific amenities to discourage off-site trips, including providing a break room equipped with a microwave and refrigerator, offering direct deposit of paychecks, and similar measures to reduce overall traffic volumes and travel during peak traffic volume periods. E, work-at-home workspaces shall be provided to support telecommuting by residents of the site. F, pedestrian accommodations shall be incorporated within the site and consist of walkways and connect to the existing sidewalks along Lincoln Street and Mechanic Street. G, a central mail drop shall be provided within the building for the residents. H, secure bicycle parking shall be provided for residents, visitors and patrons, and commercial tenants, including weather-protected bicycle parking in a bike room located within the garage. 13, lighting. Exterior lighting at the site shall be down-facing and shielded to minimize impacts on neighboring properties, with a lighting plan for the site to be reviewed and further conditioned during the site plan review process. Exterior lighting associated with the retail and commercial spaces at the site shall be shut off outside of operating hours except for lighting necessary for security and emergency access. 14, landscaping. A detailed landscaping plan for the site shall be reviewed and further conditioned during the site plan review process and may contain more extensive screening of the site than is required by the zoning ordinance. 15, green design. The residents Residential units shall have all electric utilities, including heat, air conditioning, and hot water, and the applicant shall use best efforts to provide all electric utilities in the retail, commercial, and amenity portions of the use. The use shall have a green roof substantially as shown on the plans. 16, compliance with applicable laws. The applicant shall comply with all municipal, state, and federal rules, regulations, and ordinances as they may apply to the construction, maintenance, and operation of the use. 17, land swap agreement. The applicant shall exercise all rights authorized, subject to all conditions herein, by this special permit in a manner that is consistent with the certain land swap agreement dated March 2nd, 2022, by and between WP East Acquisitions LLC and the Marlborough Economic Development Corporation, as may be amended by the parties to said agreement. 18, recording of decision. In accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, Section 11, the applicant at its expense shall record the special permit in the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds after the city clerk has certified that the 20-day period for appealing the special permit has elapsed, no appeal having been filed, and before the applicant has applied to the building commissioner for a building permit. Upon recording, the applicant shall forthwith provide a copy of the building permit, of this recorded special permit to the city council office, the building department, and the city solicitor's office.
I missed a second. Can you read that again?
Sure.
Do you need a drink? Are you all set?
I'm all set, sir.
All right, you heard the findings and the conditions. Any other discussion on the special permit? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll. Again, a yes vote is in favor of the special permit.
Councilor Ossing.
Yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Yes.
Councilor Dumas is abstaining. Councilor Doucette.
Yes.
Councilor Oram.
No.
Councilor Navin.
Yes.
Councilor Landers is absent. Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Yes.
Councilor Irish.
Yes.
7 yea, 1 nay, 1 abstention, and 1 absence.
Excuse me, Mr. Clerk, I
Oh,
don't
sorry,
believe...
Councilor Roby, excuse me, I apologize.
I'm saying that
I'm sorry, Councilor Roby. Councilor Roby,
Yes.
thank you. So 8, 1, 1, 1. My apologies, Councilor Roby.
So 8 in favor, 1 opposed, 1 abstention, and 1 not present. The motion to approve the special permit is approved. Congratulations. Well, welcome back.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here. Move to adjourn.
Motion made and second to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned at 8:51.